Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Noxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting up with Team 1, also known as the Blue Team in the north, ending with Team 2, also known as Red Team in the south. Starting off with Team 1's Eastern player, they're working our way westward. We have an Amethyst Purple, the highest rated player on Team 1. And in the game, overall, it is Mimiz. Mimiz, I think is how you say that. He is a saver for this match as a almost 2100 at a 2085 rated player. To his western Royal Blue is the 7 player of Seal Force. He is a 1558 rated, and again, he is in Royal Blue. And to his northwest in Stitch Blue is the 1686 rated player of Ravendale. Sounds like Rivendale, but it's Ravendale. He is a Cybran for this match, which means for Team 1's lineup, they have 2 Cybran and 1 Seraphim, no UEF, no Aeon for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2's Western player in orange, the color orange is a Seraphim of Gingerbread Man. He is a 1911 rated player. He is the highest rated player on his team, just barely the highest rated player on his team. And again, he is a Seraphim for this match. To his east, we have in Chevy Crimson the UEF player of Saints Row, not to be confused with Saints Row, which is, again, I think the third one is the best in the series, but that's my opinion. He is a 1446 rated player. And to his east, Gingerbread Man, beat him out in the ranking in terms of highest rated on his team. It is Robo Gear. He is an even 1900 rated player, going as the one and only Aeon of the match. And he is in Ruby Red. And for Team 2's side, overall, they have an Aeon, they have a UEF, and they have a Seraphim, which means Team 2 lacks Cybran technology. Team 1 has Cybran technology, but of course lacks Aeon and UEF. And for these 6 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. It kind of looks a little bit weird because there's a lot of these mountains, which make me feel like there's reclaim, but probably not. I mean, it looks like a decent amount. Taking a look at the math, 9,000 mass, which isn't a great heaping ton of mass, but for 6 players, it's about 1.5k mass each, which is a very big chunk. And most of it is, I mean, it's kind of everywhere. There's a well, let me zoom out back. Actually, there's about 1,700 mass in the middle of the map, which look like players are going for as we speak. It does look like there's a decent amount of mass on the eastern and the western side, but most of it looks like it kind of resides in our players' main bases, at least a good chunk of it at a minimum. We'll have an easy reclaim and then more difficult reclaim in the middle to go and grab. Taking a look at Team 1's side of the map in terms of mexes, they do have a lot of mexes to scoop up here, cutting, of course, the map down the middle in terms of the horizontal line. There is a Trimex and a Dual Mex and a Quad Mex in the western half here for Team 1. In the eastern half, we have a Trimex position, a 5-star Mex position, and a Quad Mex position, as well as, it's another Quad Mex position. The 1-2 Quad Mexes, one 5-star Mex, one Trimex, another Dual, Twin, whatever, and another Quad. So was that 1, 2, 3 quads, 2 tries, 1 5-star, and 1 2 Mex position, Twin Mex position, Dual Mex position, whatever 2 adjective descriptor you want to give it to that grouping of mexes. Transports outbound from Team 2's Chevy Crimson player of Saints Row. Going after the rocks first. It looks like the engineers haven't been given orders yet, but I will admit that is a very flat rock comparatively to that one right next to it, and it looks like they're the same amount of mass. And unfortunately, that rock there doesn't get as much volume as the other one did, unfortunately. Mexes, of course, are starting to be grabbed here in the east by a lot of these random engineers kind of thrown around. Again, they're not random, but they're just kind of like, go get mexes, go. And then they scurry around and go get mexes around the map. A decent group of units starting to roam around the map here for Blue Team, just trying to deal with the expansionary mexes and engineers from Team 2, or at least the ones at the minimum going for their reclaim. We do see Saints Row is moving in to exterminate any sort of scouts and raiding units in the middle. Another thing I want to point out here about this map, There is no ramp to the upper plateau on this eastern side here. The only two main points of entry are right here where these two players are from Team 2, and then this kind of really weird branching off point in the west. And that's pretty much a direct shot to the other side of the map, at least the one down the middle. So we're going to see a lot of action down this middle quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if most of the edges are kind of just ignored, and main focus is, well, right down the middle. Very easy. Shortest distance between 2 points, of course, is a straight line. T1 PD built to protect this Trimax position. Radar almost gets taken out, but Saints Row is able to save it. And the Max will be fine, and the engineer as well, as I just kind of die as I try to speak in this game. I don't know what it is, but I can work, I can travel, I can do a whole bunch of things and speak perfectly fine, but when it comes to casting, my brain just goes to mush and my vocabulary just goes right out the window. I don't know what it is. We do see these units getting by the comm of RoboGear. He went west and units went east, and that's going to not be great here for Team 2. There are a couple of engineers on orders to continue northward, and they're probably regretting those decisions as they're going to walk right into those units inbound from Seal Force. We do see his opponent of Saints Row going for a gun upgrade. In the west, we do see some action here going after the ingress point here from Team 2's Gingerbread. And I don't think that's really going to work out for Team 1. There's a lot of units inbound. It looks like they're going to retreat for the time being. In the east, units have broken up, started to rampage around these mexes here for RoboGear. There's not a lot of groupings of mexes over here in the east besides that dual mex and, of course, and the quad mex down there in the southeast. But those units are getting pretty far. They might get to this position. It looks like it's upgrading to T2 land tech here so far. So trying to get those higher tier units on the front line sooner rather than later. And this is, I think, one of the most interesting places to go for a gun upgrade I think I have ever seen. Saints Row has his gun upgrade. Seal Force decides to go for his gun upgrade pretty much in front of Saints Row. And I don't think that gun upgrade is going to finish. And Overcharge is going into the back of Seal Force. He's like, yeah, it was probably not the best idea. So he's going to try to get out of there before he gets blitzed down by his opponent of Saints Row. It will, of course, hamper his abilities to fight back due to the fact that he doesn't have that gun upgrade on board. Ravendale in the middle supporting his teammate over there. Gun started here for RoboGear in the west. So it is a 2v1 in the middle here between Team 1 and Team 2. 2v0 in the west here for Team 2. And 1v0 in the east for Team 1. So a lot of unimposed opposition, or unopposed. I think it's unopposed. I don't even know what I said. Unopposed opposition here for both of these teams. But I feel like Team 2 would definitely be benefited a little bit more from going down the middle. I know this 2 commander lineup doesn't have any guns as of yet, but there are a lot of units inbound moving in to try to crush Saints Row's dream of just pushing on forward. We do see Seal Force trying to get in a little bit, but the gun upgrade forces him back. And it looks like those units are also going to be forced back as well. Speed is on the way here for RoboGear. He already has range on board. Speed and range started here for Ravendale in the middle. And it looks like Saints Row is not stopping anytime soon. Large group of units in the east here for Team 1's Seal Force. Again, pushing in against all these Aurora. They are, of course, being supported now by T2 land headquarters here producing. Actually, I will apologize. It is going straight for T3, skipping the T2 phase, going straight for it. If you can pull it off, it is very nice to do, especially in a ladder match. The downside is, of course, if the opponent is being very aggressive with their units, it's not going to work out. Because you're just not going to have the units to be able to push back against the opponent pushing you kind of thing. Stealth hasn't started on the way here for Seal Force's commander. He has gun on board now, and gun almost on the way here. And done for Avondale. There it is. Will he go for stealth and match his Cybran teammate, or will he not and just kind of go stealthless? We see in the west, gun speed and range has been started for Gingerbread. He's already halfway done with that. And Mimiz, and moving in on the eastern side here. Again, like I said, unopposed in terms of the comm counts. It looks like he'll stop for a time being, going for his upgrade. So pretty much everybody has started an upgrade at some degree. Some of them have more upgrades than others, and some are almost done with theirs. So pretty much everybody has gun, and Nano going to be done here shortly here for Saints Row. Stealth has been started for Ravendale, so both of the Cybernets are going to go for stealth. If you're going to put your comm on the front line in your Cybern, why not? Because you have to get stealth to get Nano, so you might as well just go for stealth if you can. Speaking of Nano, Ravendale has started his Nano upgrade, and looks like it's going pretty quick. I don't think it'll catch up to Saints Row, but it'll probably get to about 70% when he... looks like it's going to be about 50, maybe 60% if he's lucky. 50% looks like he's going to get to. Lots of T1 units and a couple of T2 Ilshis on the eastern side here for Mimi's, pushing back again the only T1 force here, the main one at least, for Team 2's RoboGear. He went for the T3 land headquarters, and he's now producing some Harbingers. Will that be enough to hold off this Team 1 T2 army? I don't know. The only issue, of course, is going to be time. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Team 2. And, of course, Team 1 doesn't know that, but they are pushing in. Harbinger is on station. Harbingers are being produced ever so quickly. T2PD also being produced to help out in defense of that headquarters. But it's going to be very, very tough for Team 2's RoboGear to lose that facility he spent so much time going for. Harbinger has lost his shield, but looks like he's getting some assistance from the Aurora that are just stacking up to defend him. Another Harbinger's on station, ripping apart those rhinos. There's no Ilshis in the mix, which RoboGear would definitely be thankful for, but looks like the PGen will be taken offline. The Oblivion PD is almost done, just needs 8 hit points remaining. It looks like the Harbingers have it taken care of. That was definitely close, but Team 2's RoboGear held out, and now he has the only T3 land headquarters online on Team 2, which I guess is actually not true, because now there's a T3 land headquarters for the Seraphim player of Gingerbread Man, and there's a T3 land headquarters in the north for Team 1's Ravendale, who his team also has all T2 air facilities with a T3 air facility as well. So everybody, at least in some degree, in the air department for Team 1. Team 2, it looks like it's only being spearheaded by Gingerbread Man. Will that work out? Will it not work out? We'll just have to watch the match to see what happens. Stealth and Nanocom versus then Nano and Guncom here for Saints Row. Don't think that's going to work out for Ravendale. There's a lot of T2 units inbound. Parashield could easily protect the commander. It looks like it might be trying to block the shots from Ravendale. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. Just trying to body block. Parashield is down, but Ravendale gets blitzed down here by Team 2's Chevy Crimson player of Saints Row, and there he goes. And now we see Mimi's going after RoboGear. Aeon Commander doesn't have the sniper range ability. Mimi's only just has the gun upgrade on board. In the west, Steel Force pushing it against this base. It is just a throwing of everybody down the middle here from Team 1. Team 2 definitely needs to bring Gingerbread Man in, or it's going to be a not good day here for Team 2 in general. RoboGear dropping again into the yellow. He's been in the yellow for a little bit. Saints Row coming back. He's back almost in the green. If he gets a rank of veterancy, he will be in the green. Overcharge does almost net him that 3-star veterancy. There it is. He's back up in the green. RoboGear now in the first veterancy, has a little piece of chest candy on board. These comms are trying to get back home, or at least get out of danger, hide behind a nice little mountain hillock thingamajiggy here. Looks like Team 2 is just in full retreat mode. Lots of T2 units online here. A couple of T3s as well for Mimi's. CO Force, of course, is online. Just with this commander, which is a little bit worrisome, but he has a lot of support from his teammate and has some support for the West. So it looks like he's going to be pretty much fine. Saints Row not feeling good. Overcharge kills off that Rhino there. Kills off another. Oh no, that's the Overcharge. Kills off 2 more Rhinos. And is working his way up to another veterancy. Almost actually done with it. And there goes RoboGear. Just gets assassinated by Corsairs from Seal Force. There he goes. I saw them just at the last moment. And Team 1 gets a kill on Team 2, dropping this game back to a tie game at 2v2. Of course, Ravendale was the first to die, and a couple minutes later, RoboGear was. Somebody of those 2 comms from Team 2 was going to die. Unfortunately, it was RoboGear killed with Corsair, says Ravendale. Just a random Otham hanging out. just going after some X's. Nothing too worrisome. Looks like in the middle still Sandro holding out and being bombarded at the same time. I do like the fact these units tried to stack up on this little mountainside here and kind of cut their force in half. That's not a good look. And a T2 radar system very far forward, very ambitious. That probably lasted a little bit, gave Team 1 a decent amount of vision to play with, intel to play with. It is risky being that far forward, but hey, no risk, no reward kind of thing. Do see more Harbingers starting to roam the eastern side here now under the control of Gingerbread Man. Don't have air for now, I think, says Ravendale, and he would be correct in that estimate. Team 1 has a little bit more ASFs than Team 2, so he's going to have a little bit more versatility in the air department for now. A couple of engineers trying to hastily get some reclaim here. Just scoop up as much mass as possible. Sandro does not like that. Decides to move in and deal with those engineers personally. A couple of Othams sitting in the middle of the map here for Team 2's Gingerbread Man, just kind of taking some time, blending in with the environment a little bit, and of course hiding behind some trees. I don't know how much hiding you can do behind a thin little tree like that in relation to a giant unit like this. You can try to hide, but good luck. Ravendale making a comment about being behind Eco, and he is correct. Team 1 at 370 mass income. Team 2 400, so about 30 to 40 mass a second in favor of Team 2. 20 minutes on the clock. Team 1 has lost one player, that being Ravendale. Team 2 has lost RoboGear shortly thereafter. So Team 2 has lost their second highest rated player, same as Team 1. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, because why haven't you done so already? Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you all. I won't see all of you in the next one. Hopefully you won't leave the match at that point. I kind of got in a spiel there, and my brain kind of just, not my brain went into autopilot, but no, don't stop. Don't stop watching, please. Please. Hope you continue to watch after that random little outburst there. But a couple of Corsairs inbound for T3 Pigeons or Mexes or Com, probably T3 Pigeons. ASF rip apart those Corsairs before they even reach their targets, and yes, we're going for some Pigeons. So definitely unfortunate. It was a nice attempt, but it was not a successful one. Gingerbread Man does not like that. Decides to hide his Com in the water. We still have air. Could fight and win air, says Ravendale. And Com down the middle here for Team 2. Saints Row getting bombarded by Othams, and now Brickfire. That Com is dead. Good luck. He's not going to be picked up in time. And there he goes. I don't know if he could have, even if he wanted to. There's no AA on board those units. There's a couple of AA units over here, so it looked like he could have made it out of dodge had that transport picked him up. But unfortunately, it's now a 1v2 in favor of Team 1. But of course, it does give Gingerbread Man all of the eco, and all it comes down to now is the APM strong enough for Gingerbread Man to hold off against Mimi's and Seal Force? It's just going to have to be... You have to find out at the end of the match who wins. We have a couple of whalers on this western side, and this is where Team 2's Gingerbread Man is going to start losing, is just poking over here, poking over here, poking down here, ASF running around. It's just soaking up all the APM. T3 AA trying to deal with these gunships. They take out one of them, they take out the other one, but lost the T3 mechs. Definitely worth the price, I feel like, especially due to the fact that it's going to be 27 mass a second that Gingerbread Man is losing, and these engineers are scooping up the facility, but probably just going to build it. Yep, I was going to say they're going to build a T1 and then, I guess, upgrade. Maybe he just meant to put down a T3 and just misclick, possibly. Ravendale says Steve exploring experimental. I do love that here from Team 1's only dead players. He's like, hey, you should go look at this. Hey, we think we still have air. Hey, this. Hey, that. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. That kind of thing. Essentially trying to take off the mental load for his teammates and just assist where he can, because he's dead, so he can't control units, but can still make call-outs. So love that here for Ravendale. He didn't leave. He's not hanging back. or whatever. He's still being an active participant, even if he's limited by what he can do. Is Team 2's experiment? Well, I was going to say, Ravenel couldn't tell if he was producing an experimental, and I can tell that is a Colossus. And that thing is now moving to the front lines for safety. He's actually put it right here, so it's going to walk all the way down the middle and then all the way around. More units to the west here for Team 1, Seal Force. And Team 1 pretty much at this point just has to play it defensively. They have more than 50% of the map at a minimum, close on 75%. All they have to do is eco very, very hard. You can see that they're even leading the eco, and then they can go for whatever they want. Artillery, satellite. Actually, they can't go for satellites. Artillery, game enders, bunch of experimentals, whatever the case may be. Lasers, I guess. He could go for the murder-suicide route. That's always a good route to go for if you just want that final kill. Couple of bricks, couple being almost a dozen, I'd say. Ripping apart all of those Othams from Team 2's Gingerbread Men. But here he comes with more of them. At this point, he might as well just retreat the ones he has left and move in as one solid force. Colossus is going to take the main center stage in terms of defensive line. We'll see if that pays out for him or not. In the west, we do see that Break Force is going to get wiped out, but it is going to get a decent amount of kills before it does get wiped out. So trying to keep that opponent back is what Seal Force is thinking. And that Break Force does repel the Otham Force. The Otham's not wanting to engage. They've already lost enough of their numbers and just want to lose more of them. I understand that sentiment, but the numbers-wise, Team 2 had the advantage. They just couldn't get in closer, I think is what Gingerbread Man was thinking. It's just, he's not outranging him, but essentially it's just not helping the situation. A couple of more bricks here in the west. Wall section has been built. I don't know how much longer that will help. There is a nice little hill here as well, so instead of there being 3 entry points, there's actually 4 of them. Colossus comes over to the west and goes, okay, I'm done with these bricks. Decides to stomp on their fun times. Unfortunately, for some of those bricks, he will crush them to death, and the other ones he'll just ignore, I guess. Oh, there he goes. He turns around. Cloaking has been completed for Seal Force's commander, so he's going for the Cybern annoying play of just hiding from radar. A couple of Othams on station. One transport is shot down. The other one is shot down right before it lands. Ooh, that is a group of Othams. That's another group of Othams. Definitely unfortunate for Mimis. Of course, they're leading eco, so yeah, they lost units. They probably can build some more quicker than that now, but still, that attempt was lost. We do see a couple of bricks broke through that wall section. Well, if you throw a brick at it, you can pretty much break a wall with it, I guess. If you throw a brick at it, you can pretty much break a wall with it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what I was going with that, but Gingerbread Man builds another experimental. Is it nope, it is not a Colossus. It is a Fat Boy. A couple of Othams land on the upper plateau, though. Does the transport get away? It looks like the transport does get away. That one did not. A couple of PD being built to deal with the incoming invaders, and Fat Boy fire at least the other set of guns are firing on that group of units. One Otham is down. Hydrocarbon is down. E-storage goes down. That's never a good thing. Mex goes down. It's just Team 2's eco is slowly being eroded away by just raiding parties from Mimis. Just, again, trying to do as much damage as he can. And more importantly, soak up all the APM as he can. Almost 29 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 sitting at 750 mass income. Team 2, 600. Team 1's now up 750 mass. Sorry, not 150 mass per second. They're at 750. Grab is being constructed right next door to Seal Force's cloaking commander that will soon be online. He has, of course, the laser on board, which is just as insane as strapping a nuke to a quantum reactor and throwing it at your opponents. The UEF and Cyberns are cut from the same cloth when it comes to that regard. Numbers favor Team 2. You can see the secondary fire trying to get in range, just cannot seem to do so. There goes the Othams firing. They take out that second to last brick. And Otham v brick fight. Looks like the brick will win that fight. But there is some Zooey fire raiding in. That's never helping anything. Brick having to constantly move now. That's APM that Mimi's is losing. The Otham is down. The transport might actually get the kill here. Actually, no. It looks like the transport is not doing enough damage, because it looks like the unit is regenning more than what he's losing. Colossus that was used earlier on now being sent down the middle here from Gingerbread Man, continuing to just pressure Team 1. The spam is real. There it is. Definitely not the best grouping of units to use spam against, though. Unfortunately, they have the dual fire modes. They can fire very, very quickly and effectively, very similar to the chicken in that regard, except the chicken fires 3 instead of 2. And that brick still causing havoc. It looks like it has a friend or two. And now it's just becoming very annoying for Gingerbread Man to deal with. ASF fight looks like it's starting to brew. Second, Colossus is online in the middle. A couple of Corsairs raining over. Needs AA to guard them, or it's not going to be a good day for either of those units. Fat Boy now in the middle of the map guarding that approach. At least the middle of the causeway there. No big plays as of yet. I hear Strat Bombers except for the Albasaw Bomber. He doesn't have air control, so I don't understand doing that. Team 1 has Strat Bombers online. I do understand that. And Corsairs assisting with dealing with the first of the 2 Corsairs. But looks like that one will die out in no man's land. Second one may make it back home, but it's going to be one of those things of, is it worth it to bring the first one back, or just send it in and kill off as much stuff? At this point, it's probably just not worth it. Send it back. It's already in the red. Units shadowing their movements here to the north. They don't want to engage. It's a lot easier to just let the Corsairs and the Bombers take care of it, which I don't blame them, because why waste units that can otherwise be used at something else? And now we see those bricks in the southwest just rampaging all over these mexes. 5 of them now down, 6 of them soon to be down. Not a good look here for Team 2's eco, especially when they're down by almost 200 and almost 300 mass per second. Colossus is down for Gingerbread Man. He's not having a good day. Crab is now online, and ASF's waiting to be given the order. In the east, another group of Othams running around going after a group of Harbingers trying to cut through the front lines over here, and actually the Harbingers might have done a great job of doing that. All those little needle lasers moving in and dealing with all of those dual fire Othams. That's gonna be close, but I think Team 2 has the upper hand, but just barely. Some of those Harbingers are not in range, so that doesn't help. And we have engineers already moving in to scoop up the ring claim from those dead units from Gingerbread Man and from Saints Row. Not Saints Row, sorry, from Mimi's, excuse me. And these units over here just getting bombarded. I think it's just coming down to the fact that Gingerbread Man just does not have the APM. He's building a bomber. He doesn't have air control. And I feel like Team 1 definitely has a lead. I don't know how much of a lead. 130 ASFs versus Gingerbread Man's 160, so he has enough and a decent amount of gunships to boot as well. They are T2, which is better than nothing. But of course he can try to go for a snipe 1 comm for Team 1's Mimi's. Ease in the water. The other one of course has cloaking, gun, and laser on board, and is just spamming out crabs at this point. Second crab is online for Team 1's Mimi's. Probably will be transferred over to Seal Force here shortly, or it's actually probably transferred over to Mimi's, to be fair. Are those 3 Fat Boys, not 2? Oh no, that's the that's the Colossus hanging out next to them. First Fat Boy now in range of that Megalith. Looks like it's trying to just move out of the way of that Colossus. Unfortunately, now that Fat Boy is dead, Colossus is going to act as a nice sacrificial lamb to allow that other Fat Boy to escape. Unfortunately, it's not going to do much. It's not even going to kill off that Megalith on the right or the left side there. Gunships are moving in though. That might be enough. There is some flak, but there's not a lot. Question is, how much damage are they going to do before the ASF show up? There they are. Not as many showed up. Team 2 will engage that ASF grouping. And will Team 1 engage the rest of them is the question. Gunships not completely wiped out, but a lot of their numbers have been thinned out. And that chicken now moving into assist, going after that weakened crab to the right. This crab to the west is almost dead as well. Those chickens. That ion storm definitely not going to help this situation with the pooping of those megaliths. But that megalith is going to go down. Less than 7,000 hit points, less than 3,000. There it goes. And Awasab Bomber just going to land on top of all that mass. Oh, man. That's not a good day for that grouping of mass there, especially for Team 2. That's Team 2's mass. They need that. And Team 1's, but Team 2 desperately needs it to stay in this game in terms of the mass quantities. Team 1, 930,000 mass total accrued. Team 2, 850 will give them, so 80,000 mass. And it's now 300 mass per second more in favor of Team 1 than it is of Team 2. It's a lot of mass to be behind, especially at 35 minutes. And again, it is a 3v3, technically 2v1 at this point, so definitely at this point we'd see 1.5k, 1.6k versus maybe 1.3k, 1.2k. Those numbers are definitely different, but the quantities that players have isn't too dissimilar, I should say. Just depends on situation and whatnot. Here comes another bomb from that Awasab Bomber. Drops the hit points down to almost 3,000. A couple of strap bombers overhead going after the Fat Boy. That's not going to do much. They'll drop one bomb and call it a day. That bomber is not going to be the saving grace that Gingerbread needs, but it is a nice start. He needs to take out a lot of units, especially that other crab. And probably that one right there. And really slow down Team 1's roll. You can see that they're still almost breaching the main gates for Gingerbread Man. I was going to say, if he drops a bomb in the area, that is not going to be good for his own ASFs. Otham's in the east, and now Corsair's in the east as well. Team 2's Gingerbread Man is bleeding everywhere. His western side not feeling good. Another group of units dropped off there. More crabs, more bricks to throw onto the pyre. We do see those Corsairs outmaneuvered some of those ASFs. Corsairs going after a P-Gen. Doesn't look like they'll get it, but they did make an attempt, which is, again, better than nothing. A little bit of mass for Team 2 to scoop up, but again, like I said, not much that they need, or not as much as they need. They definitely need a lot more than that. 400 mass is now what's separating Team 1's Mimi's and Seal Force from Team 2's Gingerbread Man here at almost 37 minutes. And here we go. Here comes the Authams. And Titans now being deployed to deal with all of these spam units inbound from Mimi's. Mimi's doing a very good job of just sending in units to distract while they do the everything else. Ecoing now at almost 600. And Seal Force almost at 370. Almost closing in on that 400 mark. Do we see a nuke? No nuke. Another crab. There's just so many crabs being built. And the comm of Seal Force still is hanging out online with that cloaking and gun commander. Looks like the Awasab Bomber either didn't drop its payload or is trying to size up for another attack. Still hasn't dropped its payload. Don't know what's going on with that. Usually the hover bomb works very well, but for some reason it's not working today. Don't know why. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. Gunships in the west going after, again, the everything, but I don't think it's going to do that much. Bomber does drop. There it goes. So must have just been a really weird turning issue or something. There goes a nice grouping of units here from Mimi's. Takes out all of them, but a couple of Authams and, of course, some bricks that kind of ran by to say hi. You can see the map just continuing to stay in Team 1's side quite heavily. It's being pushed back a little bit by Team 2, but not by much. A couple of chickens running around, running and hiding due to the Colossus wreck over here. Not going to get reclaimed, unfortunately. And, of course, the Megalith over here to the east. Bomber is inbound, going for said Megalith. That is not a good day here for Team 1's Experimental. And, of course, good for the veterancy for this one. Almost gets up to 1 star. But almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It's probably and nukes probably, but that's kind of overkill in terms of the comparability, that kind of thing. And here come the chickens, going to steamroll this Megalith. This one will go down due to the assisting units nearby, but just barely doesn't die before the Megalith, but that one over there gets it. It's now a 2v1. It looks like the chickens are in full retreat. Team 1's continuing to pressure the advantage, or at least keep Team 2 away from the reclaim. They know that's a lot of reclaim. Speaking of which, how much of it currently sitting on the map? I'd say 60,000 right there. Total mass on the map, 128,000. A lot of it, of course, in that ball of reclaim right here. And, of course, there's some over here dotted around the map with all those mixes that Team 1 hasn't scooped up yet from their not issues, but their attempts in trying to land on enemy territory, which have worked sometimes, and sometimes they do not work. Still, the ASF shield the bomber from Team 1, but at this point it's going to be a one-tap because there's just been so many ASFs built in the interim. Closing in on 40 minutes here for the game. Lots of units bingo on fuel, especially the ASFs from the Cybran and the Seraphim variety, but looks like it's 180 for Team 1. Gingerbread Man looks like 200. 219 and a bomber, so that's going to help out a little bit. Couple of ASFs kind of slow due to the fact that it looks like they're bingo on fuel, and the bombers, the bomber is being targeted, tries to go around the edge of the map. The bomber stops moving. That's never a good sign, and there goes it. And definitely, of course, not off mapping. An ASF fight does occur. More ASF going to be added possibly, and maybe they'll just retreat back to home base. They go, that's probably not worth it. Team 2 and Team 1 fought over Team 1's AA. A couple of mobile, a couple of SAM sites. I gotta love to see it. And look at that. The numbers thin out quite nicely. Team 2 had more numbers and the better engagement in terms of some ASFs pulling off the deal with the bomber. And they lost that fight. And that is not a good turn of events for Team 2. Now, Team 1 has lost a majority of theirs as well. But it's the whole, they have 1.1k mass income. Team 2 has 400 kind of thing. So not going to go well here in that regard. Unless Team 2 just splits down ASF production. But then they lose out on land production, which means they're not doing good on land as it is. Bricks to the west and more units down the middle. Ion Storm does activate, taking out a chunk of those Zooey. Another chicken over here, but again, Team 2 is just not having a good day on the land situation here. Being heavily pushed back by the everything. Gun Splash is now coming on the way here for Gingerbread Man. Don't know why you built Gun Splash at this point. Maybe he just wants to send his comment a nice little hurrah. And that quantum expedition is now gone. Teleport has been started. That's very interesting. Teleporter has been started. Maybe he's going to go for a snipe attempt. I don't know what he would go for. One commander is currently still in the water. One commander has cloaking and laser, so good luck getting close to that guy. You would essentially have to have a laser on board to be able to counter the laser from Team 1, but then at that point it just depends on when you, or where you teleport into. Does the comm look 180 degrees or does it not? And can you even spot the comm kind of thing? That's another thing to factor in. More crabs being produced, more crabs being taken out by Team 2, and now we see Team 2 creating a nice little exclusion zone for this grouping of reclaim. It's not much, but at least they'll keep them afloat at least a little bit in this game. Team 1, 1.1k mass income. Team 2, 300, so more than triple the mass income for Team 1. 42 minutes on the clock are not looking good. Team 1, I mean, they could probably stomp it out if they really wanted to, but they're just slowly marinating the food, essentially. And here come the bricks down the middle here, actually down from the northwest, going after the pigeons. That's a dead pigeon. That's a dead pigeon. There goes a couple of other facilities. T3 air headquarters looks like it's perfectly fine, though. It's not necessarily isolated, but it's away from this grouping of structures. There goes another section of pigeons, and that is not a good day for the air production efforts of Team 2. So they've lost air, they've pretty much lost land, so it's only a matter of time before Gingerbread Man either throws in the towel, control Ks, or just blows up next to somebody. The third option is always the best option to watch, but it's never the always option, essentially. There is the always option of dying, but even that doesn't happen for some players, at least in some matches. I don't think there's ever been any player in the game that has never died once. I don't think that exists, unless you count a couple of matches that have to be caveats of, well, I only played 5 matches and I won every match and didn't die. Cool, but have you won 200 matches and never died, kind of thing? Or do you only count games where you have to win or it's still considered a death, because if you still teleport out at the end or recall, does it count as a death? I would still say technically no, but technically yes. I like how all these bricks scatter. It makes it very difficult for the chicken to target groups of units, and the Corsairs helping does not assist with dealing with the nonsense that is a chicken. But it does, of course, do a little bit. The AA isn't great on board. You can see the Corsairs, of course, just ripping to the point. Not a lot of ASFs or all are being built by Gingerbread Man. I feel like at this point he's not having a good day. The comm of Saints Row transports up here, but doesn't really do anything. Ravendale, he has no energy, says him, and he really doesn't have much. He's not spending it on much, to be fair, so he's still positive, but not by much. T3 Pigeon goes down, and he's essentially broke. And Team 2, last remaining player of Gingerbread Man, vacates the scene, and there's the win here, folks. Team 1 wins it, and that's, again, pretty much due to both Seal Force and Mimi's just dropping in units constantly. I feel like Seal Force did a little bit better of job there, so I think I'll give it to him for the MVP. Constantly kept drawing Gingerbread's attention over here to the east. Again, same thing could be made for the eastern side here for Team 1's Mimi's, but I feel like the western side against Team 2 was a little bit more impactful. Let me know down in the comments who you thought deserved MVP for this game. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And now, I will see all of you in the next one.